Turning now to Capitol Hill, where Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu met with House Speaker Mike Johnson. He is back, that is to say Netanyahu, at the White House tonight for another meeting with President Trump. Caitlin Huey-Burns joins me from Capitol Hill. Caitlin, when I play you sound from the Israeli Prime Minister from last night about the future of a possible two-state solution, meaning a state for Palestinians governed by themselves. Let's listen.
I think Palestinians should have all the powers to govern themselves, but none of the powers should threaten us. And that means that certain powers, like overall security, will always remain in our hands. Now, that is a fact, and no one in Israel will agree to anything else.
Caitlin, as you know, that is a different definition of a two-state solution. That is Palestinians governing themselves, but all security aspects overseen, if not controlled, by the Israelis. That's going to be a very difficult needle to thread.
Absolutely, because it has been long-standing U.S. policy to have a two-state solution. Netanyahu came to Capitol Hill today to try to kind of shore up support among lawmakers, because you may remember several weeks ago when the U.S. made those strikes against Iran, there were some bipartisan calls up here on Capitol Hill for lawmakers to have a say and to kind of try to have a say in the president's powers here. That has since dissipated, Major, because it seems like that strike was a limited one. So while lawmakers are making their way back to Washington today, that doesn't appear to be top of mind for them. But still, it's significant that Netanyahu was up here, because he is one of the few world leaders who's actually given an address to a joint session of Congress. You may remember last year he came up here again to shore up support. He finds a very friendly audience among Republican lawmakers. So when he met with Johnson today, that was kind of the atmosphere here. But you also mentioned that Netanyahu is going to the White House this evening, and that comes at the expense of his meeting that he was supposed to have with senators up here on Capitol Hill as well. That will be postponed until tomorrow. It will be similar to what we saw today, a meet and greet with leaders here, but also with Democrats as well. Chuck Schumer was supposed to participate in that meeting, too.
There's an anticipation, Caitlin, within the White House, and I wonder if it's present on Capitol Hill, that the end of Israeli military actions in Gaza might be somewhat near. There's a big emphasis on creating not only a ceasefire, but the return of living and dead hostages. How does that all feel up there?
That's right. I mean, Republicans up here are echoing the president's wish to have this come to a swift conclusion. The question is how. And Netanyahu took several questions from reporters up here on Capitol Hill, and he was asked about details for a more permanent ceasefire, and he was very tight-lipped, saying that this is something that he's talking about with the White House. He mentioned those mediators, that they have agreed to some kind of deal, but the conditions we inferred from him still remain, that nothing can happen until the hostages are released, in his words. So we're waiting to hear the details, some of which may be ironed out a little bit more, at least in public view, later tonight. But again, tight-lipped about what that might actually look like.
And the military campaign by the Israelis in Gaza continues. Caitlin Huey-Burns on Capitol Hill, thank you so very much.